So here we are
Yes.
in the War Memorial Building celebrating Pride Fest 2023 here in Holyoke, and such an amazing opportunity to talk to you, Mary Lambert here. And what an amazing way to celebrate Pride this year.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's just incredible that they were able to move it indoors so quickly with the weather contingency. Is really impressive. And just to see everybody come together, everybody that's put this on, I feel like is just, it's really inspiring to see everybody really work together to make something special happen. And I love seeing all the vendors. It just feels like such a great community experience.
So, how is it for you being able to perform in such meaningful celebration for Pride here in Holyoke in Western Massachusetts, especially seeing how much it is important to keep amplifying the representation of the LGBTQ plus community?
Totally. My spouse and I were talking last night about the difference in what the climate feels and the culture feels like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we didn't have the right to marry, but we're in this space where it feels like increasingly hostile. So the climate now feels more hostile than it has in the past. And I feel like as visibility has increased for queer people and for, all members of our community, there's this increased, weird, misplaced fear and anger. And so I think I know just for myself, I am more nervous going to Pride than I have in the past. And I think that means there's every more reason to be at Pride. We should continue to be proud of who we are because we know that visibility is important. We know that representation is important. I knew I was queer because I saw somebody that looked like me having the relationship that I wanted to have. And you only really get to see that if you're exposed to it. And so I think it's really important to just continue to show that we're a loving, joyful community and we're fun. And we get to have fun.
So, feeling that somehow this importance to continue amplifying this voice and this representation, what are your thoughts when you see, especially today, gathered here in this celebration, so many young people being present and feeling comfortable and happy of getting this opportunity to be together, to celebrate Pride, but also to just be able to manifest in their own natural way. Being aware that there are still things to be worried, unfortunately, but regardless, being here and also seeing you as someone who has gone through so many different situations that are really defining on your life, but at the same time putting you on the perspective of you have to tell your story, you have to support and make others aware that there is always light in the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. I struggled the most with my mental illness when I was a teen. And I attempted suicide when I was 17. Part of that alienation, or part of the reason for that, was the alienation I experienced in the Christian church, was being told that the love that I had for my girlfriend separated me from the love of Jesus. And I think it's such a disservice that we do that to kids, that we do that to people, that we do that to anybody, that we say, the way that you love precludes you from God's love. And what I think is so amazing is that this generation gets it. They're empathetic. They know that people come from a variety of different backgrounds and have a variety of different ways that they express themselves and love and identify, and that all of those things make for this beautiful spectrum of community. And that's what it's about, is being able to really celebrate who you are. And I think the youth are really leading that and showing us. So I think our job is really to listen, to say, how are they doing this? Because they're managing just fine. They know how to respect their classmates' pronouns. They feel proud of themselves. They feel proud to know each other. And it's just like any other thing,
What will be your message for allies who are still in the process of learn, educate, and be more effective on being allies, but sometimes it's still challenging and difficult to see the realities and even sometimes the mistakes being made on this effort of learning, but how to make sure that they can still continue being allies and do better for that matter?
I think we have a tendency to make things about us. So it's like there's this fear of like, oh, if I get your pronouns wrong, that I'm so sorry. I'm part of the problem, and I'm sort of belaboring the point. But if you can just come to the table with a positive attitude and compassion and move past that. It's okay if you fuck up someone's pronouns. It's okay to move past that. Let's be gentle with ourselves and each other, but also know that it is a responsibility for all of us to be more politically active, to say we can shift this, and allies have a great opportunity to help further that along politically and with voting, because we're at such a really scary crossroads culturally, and I think it's really important that we have allies step up and say, you're safe with me.
How do you feel through the music that you are creating and performing is the next stage of your musical career to continue doing? Any plans or any projects that you're working on currently?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of my third studio album, so I'm working on that right now, and I just finished composing the film score for a documentary actually about the first time the word homosexual ended up in the Bible. So that documentary is called 1946, The Mistranslation That Changed a Culture, and that premiered at Doc NYC, and it's doing really well in the circuit. We're hoping to get picked up. And so I continue to do like small little film projects, working on that album, and I run a workshop on body positivity, so I'm like really about that. I love talking about that. But this year is just about buckling down and like really writing and getting my heart out and trying to figure out what that looks like, sonically as well. I've been producing and engineering, so trying to figure out my, what's my signature sound? What do I want my mark to be? So it's been fun.
And what will be your message for the LGBTQ plus community in Holyoke, in our region, particularly for our youth, who are so many of them today gathering and waiting to listen to your music?
Yeah. I want LGBTQ youth to know that their voice matters and that there's a place for them and that we are stronger as a community together. And I know there's this impulse to have an apathetic, sort of indifferent affect. But it's really important that we remain hopeful and stick together and really band together for the most marginalized upon us. People that have the most, are really in the intersections of like being, multiply marginalized. Those are the people we really need to listen to, and those are the people that really give us a template for what are we missing when we try to help people, and what are we doing right, and how can we learn from those people. And I think that the youth get that in a way that sometimes we don't. But just to stay hopeful and to find each other. It can feel really isolated to be queer and to be young, especially if you've been harmed by the church. So this is such a great opportunity to find each other and make friends.
Mary, thank you so much for that amazing work and inspiration that you do. The sound check was an amazing experience for vendors, for them to have a little taste of what is coming. And I think that connection is also something that makes it so unique, so special, and so real when you know that there's support, there's love, especially when we know that our shared experiences as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really special to see everybody come together, and I think it's just a smaller town, you know what I mean? Like, Holyoke is big, but like, it's exciting to have a pride that's this attended. In this place, most people will go to Northampton Pride or, somewhere else, and this is just feels really special for this particular community because I think we deserve it. It should be as celebrated and as attended and as important. So I'm really happy to be here.